Jerry Katzman, welcome to MasterTalentTeachers.com. I'm here with Rob Seals, head of the Songwriting School of LA. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Rob has been nice enough to help us do the impossible, which is to decode the 3 secret keys to writing comedy songs. Now, if you're a comedian or someone who has to present, you know that you can avail yourself of the power that music can bring to your comedy. And frankly, it's very seldom that a stand-up comedian does some sort of musical thing in their act that it doesn't either get an amazing response and most of the time just an applause break. They can't believe that you're singing or that you're beatboxing or that your characters are doing opera or whatever it is. It's such a, and as far as comedy on the internet goes, so many of the YouTube viral things are comedy hits, and so many of the shows that are getting made right now are things like Tenacious D and Flight of the Conchords and Mighty Boosh and Garfunkel and Oates and all these duos that use music. So first I'll make a distinction and distinguish something. Comedy songs usually come in 2 forms. A standalone, which is an actual song that stands on its own, 2.5, 3.5 minutes or longer. I think Tenacious D's tribute is like 8 minutes and 60 seconds long, which would be 9 minutes actually. And then in metric. And then the other is where you just drop into the middle of your stand-up or into the middle of your sketch an act out, a comedy act out. And we're going to teach you ways that you can build both of these. First, we're going to start with the one tool that if you don't watch anything else on this video, if you just walk away with this first tip, you're going to be a much better comedy songwriter. And that has to do with really the secret to being able to write a good comedy song. And then we're going to go one further and show you how to tweak that secret. And you know what I'm talking about here.
Sticking the end rhyme.
Sticking the end rhyme. Landing in a big, fat, gorgeous end rhyme. Some example, I know that when I was in college, we had an improv group called Rebels Without Applause, brilliant guys, and we had I did a what's it called, parody of It Had to Be You, which is the Harry Connick Jr. kind of in the Harry Met Sally song, which was popular, and I, instead of It Had to Be You, I said it was called I'm Glad I'm a Jew, and one of the verses it had to go, it went. It's about time I realized I can't turn back, I'm circumcised, glad I'm a Jew. So that gets a laugh. That line will get a laugh every time. And the question is why? And it's because it's a really, really strong end rhyme. Now, I'm going to ask you to unpack something in a second about this, but I want to show you guys something that has nothing to do with songwriting, but everything to do with comedy writing. How did I get a word like circumcised? Why did I kind of know that that was funny? We were talking earlier about a song called Weed Card by Garfunkel and Oates, and their verse goes, it's not an addiction, because my doctor gave me a prescription, right? And I'm murdering it a little bit, but that boom, prescription, boom, circumcised. You're reaching for the hard punchline, that big reveal. So how are you going to get there? We'll deal with that later, but what I'm going to ask you, that a lot of people watching might not know, how are they doing this, where they're doing this like tightrope walk where, oh my God, you don't know where I'm going to land, and then boom, poof, they're always landing on a gorgeous word. How are they doing that?
2 important forces that drive songs for us as the listener is the relationship between the expectation that the song gives and the fulfillment, or the tension that it creates, and the release. And end rhyme is all about doing those things, creating an expectation and then releasing or fulfilling that expectation. So we know when we hear a vowel consonant sound hanging in the air, we have an expectation for what's going to fall into that spot.
So addiction, for example.
Exactly. So it's sitting there, we feel it, and we might be thinking about fiction or friction or whatever it is. But when we finally arrive in the word that closes it, that releases the tension, that completes the rhyme, if it's not what we were expecting, and it's funny and it's the truth all packaged into one, it's like you nailed the dismount.
Right. So here's our trick, guys. Work backwards.
dun, dun, dun.
Right, and I mean, you might have known that, so I'm not patronizing. I like how aggressive I'm being with the audience, but yeah.
What outs a rhyme as being weak and what will get the audience to go, groan, is you had a strong line and then you rhymed with it. The strong line is the destination. Rhymes create a sense of inevitability, and if the ear feels it coming and we arrive at a place of truth, and the truth is startlingly funny, and you got the technique of the rhyming right, the sense of wonder from the audience.
Yeah, so the secret is, just to convey what we've both been saying, is the audience has the experience that you're singing and then you stumble on the funny line. I'm saying, hey, first come out, figure out what your funny word's going to be, then reverse engineer a line that sets that up. And here's one more last little golden tip from the two of us. If you want to find funny words that have to do with your topics, make lists, okay? And those lists can include things like places, people, cliches, opposites, catchphrases. Wait, I'm forgetting one of my things that I teach. Names, places, people, cliches, opposites, and catchphrases. So you can make, so if it was about Britney Spears, for example, if you for some reason wanted to write about Britney Spears, you'd write about Kevin Federline, she's so out of the news, I don't know why I chose that, but K-Fed, kids, twins, shaving her head, tattoo parlors.
Underwear.
Right, underwear, not wearing underwear. So then you go, well, what's the funny word there? And then you go, oh, well, maybe panties would be the funny word. Okay, so you've decided you're going to end a verse of a song about Britney Spears with the word panties because you think it's a pretty funny word. Okay, great, smart. So now we're going to reverse engineer it back. So now I have 2 or 3 things that I use to make something rhyme with a word. My first go-to is always to just do the alphabet. And I go, I think in my mind A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I just go, bandies, no, that's not a word. Canties, no, but candies could be. Danties, no, but dandies could be. I keep going, fandies, gandies, handies, jandies, handies, right? Handies, jandies, candies, landies, mandies, pandies, quandies, randies, sandies. Hold on, I might have one. Sandies is one. Tandies, wandies. Yeah, so really I just get dandies, candies, and sandies, right? So that's one. Then, if you want to find more rhymes, go on your computer to rhymezone.com or rhymer.com or get a rhyming dictionary, and that'll give you another word, maybe a word like shanties. Oh wow, shanties, I didn't think of that when I was doing my little thing. Boom. But then there's something else that comes from the songwriting tradition, and that's, what would you say that is?
Yeah, we limit ourselves when we only rely upon what are called perfect rhymes. That's when the end vowel and consonant sounds are exactly the same, the sort of nursery rhyme effect. And so there are degrees moving away from the perfect rhyme. We talk about family rhymes, additive and subtractive, assonant, all technical terms that basically mean the further we get from the exact rhyme, but close enough in sound so that the ear groups the words, it sort of counts as a rhyme to the ear of the listener.
Right, so like what would some examples based on this word, panties, be?
So we know we're rhyming with panties, so like something like Grammys, for instance. You can hear it's not an exact rhyme, but we hear the same vowel sound, the same shape, the same number of syllables. The ear links those two words together.
Right, so, wonder why she wins so many Grammys. I guess it's because she never wears panties.
Nice.
Boom, like, something like that. And then, you were telling me before when we were kind of thinking about this, like you had other rhymes like can't be's, and be, like all these kind of crazy things. So don't ever be limited by an exact rhyme either.
Yeah, and just remember that, the old joke when we were kids, you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. When you don't pronounce the word the way it's meant to be pronounced, you out the fact that you're trying to rhyme. And we're trying to make this seem natural and inevitable, like as you like to say, you just stumbled onto it. But of course, you're crafting this from the back forward.
Awesome. So that's our first tip. It's the end rhyme. And now either I'm going to end this video here and make you wait till next month to get the next 2, or we're going to move on. But let's pretend that we're ending it here.
Cool.
It's been great seeing you. I'm Jerry Katzman from StandUpComedyClass.com.
I'm Rob Seals from the Songwriting School of Los Angeles.
We'll see you next time. And if you have any question about comedy songwriting, ask it underneath this video, and we'll get back to you. Thanks very much for joining us at Master Talent Teachers.